inovasi di kota, buktikan pada mereka.
Bawa akal, jadi bekal, ikut padi untuk berisi selamat jiwa. Di kandung kental, menyerah kalah, tolak ke sisi. Wow, kita datang, wow, kita datang, wow, kita terbilang, wow, kita terbilang. Mencari peluang, mencari peluang, menjadi cemerlang, menjadi cemerlang. UniKL, wow, UniKL, UniKL, wow, UniKL.
Satu matlamat, terbang gapai mimpi, renangi era baru, kejar misi frekuensi, pengemudi angkatan, nahoda kemajuan, jauh manapun ada ciptakan menjadi nyata.
Tetap cekal, jangan lalai, tetap kental, jangan lolai, setinggi manapun akan capai kita melonjak dari lantai. Wow, kita datang, wow, kita datang, wow, kita terbilang, wow, kita terbilang. Mencari peluang, menjadi cemerlang, menjadi cemerlang. UniKL, wow, UniKL, wow, UniKL, wow, UniKL, wow.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Okay, our existing student or our potential students. Okay, welcome to our sharing session today. Okay, webinar research activity. Okay, so our topic today is survival tips for postgraduate studies. And for your information, UniKL MIIT have a postgraduate studies which are a Doctor of Philosophy in IT, a Master of IT, and also Master in Digital Creative Multimedia. Three of them are by research program, and we also have a by mixed mode, which is Master in Computer Science, and the last one Master in Data Science, which is in coursework mode. Okay, me. Okay, I am Dr. Aziza. I am the moderator for today. I'm also the program coordinator for Master of IT and also PhD in Information Technology. Okay, today we have our guest, which is Dr. Bazilah Hj A.Talib, which is the head of section for Technopreneur Section. Welcome, Dr. Baz.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aziza, for this sharing session.
Okay, Dr. Baz. I can just call you Dr. Baz, eh? All right. Okay. So, Dr. Baz, can you introduce yourself? But okay, a little bit on yourself and your research.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name Bazilah Hj A.Talib. So, like Dr. Aziza mentioned, so I'm the head of section for Technopreneur. So, my research is currently I'm focusing on extended reality and to develop a new metaverse for University Kuala Lumpur, and also doing research in IoT as well as in software engineering a bit. So it's kind of like a mixed research at the moment. I do the multidisciplinary research with other researchers as well. So a lot of my project at the moment is linked with the industry. So all the project is related to the industry problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bazilah. Okay, before that, to all the viewers, while you are watching this live, okay, you can post your questions and leave a comment, okay, on the FB Live comment sections. Okay, last February we have a UniKL convocation ceremony, okay, and I would like to ask Dr. Baz, okay, in order to get to that point, to the convocation ceremony, what will be the survival tips for the postgraduate student to achieve that moment? Okay, so Dr. Baz, can we proceed with that?
Okay, Actually, what I'm sharing today is more like how that I achieved that as well. So I graduated in Australia with a Doctor Philosophy in IT. So actually, when we start our postgraduate study, so it's a different level. So and we also is no longer as an undergrad student. So it's more like require us a lot of discipline. So when we start to do a postgraduate study, so we must have what we want. So we need to know what are the field that we want to do throughout the process of getting our degree, either is master or PhD. So we need to know what we want first. So then before that, we start to apply that program. So like Dr. Aziza mentioned, we have a PhD in IT, we have master in IT, MCDM, and we also have a master computer science. With those who are not into research, they can go to for the coursework mode, which they also have a research element a bit. So but for by research, it's totally you the one that have to organize yourself. So and then we've been when we received the offer, so they have mentioned how long that your study you will need to get your degree. So either it's 3 years, 3.5 years, or 4 years. It depending on the program. So the topic today is very crucial actually for me. So once I register in a postgrad study, so what we are thinking is what we want. So at the end, we want the degree. So in order to get the degree, we have to consider in terms of the timeline. So once we do by research, is our own research. Mostly we doing that alone. So that's you need to know how to monitor your time. So thing that you can control, you must control, which is your own time, discipline, motivation, how you communicate with people as well. That is one of the crucial element that require in a postgrad study. After that, is slowly you will get the way how you can perform well. It's like, you know, I love to use this analogy. It's like driving a car. So once we are the driver, so drive we drive the car, we go somewhere, and we know that what where that we want to go. But in a postgrad study, it's not about the destination. It's about the road that you are taking to go to that destination. After you receive the destination, like for example, you got your PhD, you got your master, you still have to continue your journey because you are doing research. So you still need to drive again. So whatever that you're going to facing now at the postgrad study, you may face that at another level as a researcher. So if you're able to manage yourself, be disciplined with yourself, and you know what you want, so it's much easier for you to maintain your momentum. Because remember, doing postgrad study is a lonely journey. Most of the people, even myself, have that experience as well. So how that we're going to survive throughout these 3 years or 4 years degree? So if you don't have that determination, motivation, discipline, so it may once you know while you drive on the road and you have an obstacle and then you have a traffic light, you have to stop. So you may stop quite long time because you feel like, okay, I do not want to do it, and then it's very difficult. And plus for example, once we drive our car, there is a uphill. So when we're at the top, we think that everything is perfect, but we didn't see that there is a hiccup in the middle once we start our data collection. So when we have data collection, so we have another problem. So you will demotivate again because you know you think that everything is smooth, but it's not what we think when we do research. And once we talk about research, is you need to know how you maintain your motivation in the university itself. Because being a postgraduate studies, we are adults, so we are no longer a teenager, so or we are no longer a young kid require supervision all the time. So you the one and need to put a lot of effort to get that information required for your research. So for example, if you do your research in, okay, I give example what I did. So now I'm doing about metaverse. So you know, to develop a metaverse world is not easy, especially when you need to consider how people can interact in that within that world, and what are the elements that you need to know to ensure that once people use that VR Oculus or any VR spectacle, they happy in that environment. So you have to study that. You need to study the user itself. So you need to study what type of metaverse or criteria in develop that modeling that can attract user to that particular project. So that's one of the thing that you need to think ahead. And like I mentioned, when we do research, we not always, at a very good path. So it's not straightforward. So always have bumper in the middle. So when you think that you can execute that, and then all of a sudden there is another issue, or it's very costly, and then to develop that is not for 1 year project. So and then one model require like 1 year. If it's more detailed, it's very time consuming. And if you put a lot of texture and then more detail and it's require a lot of time to streaming, so it's influence the flow of your project. So then you at the beginning you feel motivation. It's like, okay, I'm going to develop a new project, and the people going to be in this environment, and then they can view all the university in this metaverse experience. But then when you facing this and then you still have determination to complete that project, so you may found a way to solve it. So that's why I said a thing that you can control, you must control. Thing that you can't control, you need to hope that everything goes well. So in the postgrad study, once we register, we have the brief proposal, we submit to the university, then you got the supervisor. So you must have a good communication with that supervisor. So it's not like every 5 minutes you need to communicate with them. It's just, and you know how to put it yourself there. So you need, each time that you speak with your supervisor, you need to have a new thing that you need to discuss. So that's why if you go embarking in a postgrad study, a lot of people will say read lots. So and then even supervisor will say, okay, you need to read a lot of literature, you need to read a lot of research or journal or conference paper, rather than rely on the internet per se. Why that we are focus on that, it's just like a road. So once we drive on the road, so it's like literature review. It's not like one way that stop. No, it's throughout that process require that reading. And then the next question that postgraduate student will ask, where to start, how to start, and what we want to write in our literature. We have no idea. Of course, after you graduate bachelor, you have no experience in a very detailed how to read a literature review. But how to start then is you need to know what are your area. So the back again, when you apply your postgrad study, you know what the topic that you want. So you start from there. So if you're looking for Internet of Things, so look at that Internet of Things definition first. What the people talk about that, and then you go to the next level, which is which area that you are focusing on. After that, you will read that, and then after that, you will see a lot of articles. Then you will feel like in a pool of articles, then you feel like okay, you lost. How to start again? So how to maintain that your momentum, you have to have your document in a very good place. So you need to create your literature review metric. That one I call that a literature review metric. I have that when I did my master and my PhD. So I know that I need to read a lot of articles. So I'm not going to read that article when I read that in the first year. So I have that in the document. So I already put what are the keywords of that particular paper that I've read. So once I start writing my literature review, so I have all the content ready. So in research, you cannot assume 10 paper is enough. No. So once you start reading, you will know that they have a lot of connection. So and how that you want to narrow it down to your research, that's the supervisor come in. So now you have all that data ready, you have all information. You maybe some people prefer to use a systematic literature review. Is okay. So like mine, I prefer to use literature metric. So in that Excel file, I code that accordingly. So if I'm doing IoT, so what are the main? So one tab. So all the paper related to Internet of Things is in one tab. So now I'm doing about metaverse. So I'm looking about what are the metaverse. So the one tab is all the paper about the metaverse. And then I'm looking for the advantage and disadvantage. So all of that I put in one tab for each particular topic. So then it's much easier for me once I start right up. So everything is there. So it's depending how that you need to come up with your own way to make yourself easier. Like I said, postgraduate study is lonely journey for some people. So you need to have a very good support from yourself, especially. So believe in yourself, and then once you believe in yourself, you can face all the difficulty. How hard that you find that doing your research, you may find the solution for it. So as long as like I mentioned, you need to be disciplined, consistent, have a determination why that you doing your study. So and why you choose that particular program. You must have a reason because you are adult already. So you the one that make a decision to embark in this postgraduate study. So you know what are your determination to it toward that and what can motivate you. So if you know that, so if you have a hard time, so you can looking back thing that can motivate you again. So back to the analogy that I love to use. When we are on the road, is a very nice way that we go. We have a very good surrounding. We can see a lot of experiences, and we have you miss something. When you miss something, you need to think how that you can solve it. So, for example, when we are doing a postgraduate study, we are obligated to the rule of the university, for example. So we need to know our what we call what are the semester our in. So that's once you know that, so you will monitor your progress. So you need to know. That's why I said when we doing a study, so you first thing that we need to know the rules. So if you know rules and regulation of that particular program, so you will not miss anything. So what, and for example, you are very nice driving with a very nice car on a very straightforward road. All of a sudden, you miss the deadline to submit your progress. That will temper your milestone as well. It will temper your timeline that you have produced. So you have to consider that. So you cannot just drive without no see right and left and right, and then did not see in front have something. So you can't do that. So you need to know why you are driving your journey to your degree or your master or PhD. You need to know that. So where that you need to start your next master when. So first, you need to know for 6 months or 1 year, you need to present your proposal defense. Make sure you meet that timeline. So the first thing that I mentioned just now is about your determination. So you the one that want that. So you must know your timeline as well. Thing that you can control. So thing that you can control, for example, the date for your viva, the date for your proposal defense, which is you can control, and then the result as well. So during the presentation, so you do not know that whether or not that your examiner will agree with your finding. We didn't know that. So this is the thing that we can't control. So why you keep thinking thing that you can control at the beginning of your study, which is that thing that you can control, which is read a lot, understand what you want to do, and then communicate well with your supervisor. So if you have that in proper way, so I believe that you or whatever the difficulty that you have, you may find the way that how you to solve it. So that's how that what I did. So what I did, my PhD is 3 years. So I know that I only have 3 years to complete my research. So first thing that I will look at is the milestone. As a postgrad student, we need to know what are the timeline that we need to fulfill. If we not obligate that timeline, it will impact on our, in fact, it will jeopardize the way that we're going to graduate as well. So I will ensure that for me that time, the system, the postgraduate study system that we need to use is like my best friend. I always look at the system, whatever update given by the postgraduate office or a school will update that in that system. So I will look at that. Okay, they and then all this the email that we are using is student, right? So we have a lot of email because we adult already. So maybe we have another work. So I always make sure that my student email is open. So I will get all the notification. So when I have this like as my best friend, so I will not miss the deadline. Because when you are in a good momentum, like you drive in the road, everything is good, and all of a sudden you forget to submit your progress. So once you not submit your progress, so it may delay your proposal defense because you're not obligated to the rules of the university. Please submit the report first. Then we can proceed for your proposal defense. So you can see that the connection. So that's why I said, being a postgraduate studies students is about yourself. You the one that need to discipline yourself. You need to know how to maintain your momentum. Because once you are in driving a car in a very nice highway, all of a sudden people stop it. So then it will impact to your momentum as well. You will feel down because you know that the milestone written in your system supposedly in 6 months. But now because you forget to submit the report, the progress report, you forget that to communicate with supervisor, so the school have the authority to stop that. And we are not obligated to the rules of the university. So then it will stop your momentum to go further. You will feel demotivation. You feel sad. So when this situation occur, so it's influence the way that we're going to move forward. But because if you have your consistency, determination, discipline, motivation, so although it stopped a little bit, so you will back up again. So you need to find a way to back up again. Do not let yourself drown in that what we call as a feeling dissatisfaction. Although you think that the school can consider that just a small matter, we can't. That's one example of that is not our control. So think that you can control, you must control that. Don't think about something that you can control. When that situation happen, face it. Take it as opportunity to become a better person for the next semester. So after that, you will not miss anything. While you are driving in nice highway with a high speed, so no one going to stop you as long as you follow all the rules. So if you have a high speed in a highway, as long as you not reach more than 110 kilometer per hour, so you will not get any ticket. Same goes to a postgrad study. If you are not miss any rules in the university, nothing that going to stop you. So you will keep your momentum in a good way. So
Okay.
that's how I
Okay.
did research.
Okay, Dr. Bazilah, I think the one that you mentioned just now is the do's and the don'ts, isn't it? Can you
Yeah.
summarize it? The do's and the don'ts?
Can so for what I as a student as a postgraduate study students, what you need to do first, know the rules and regulation of the university, especially your program. So you need to know your program, and then ensure that you assess the system. All the in the system will have all the documents that you need to use for whatever that you request. For example, confirmation letter, deferment letter. So everything in the system, you need to know that. And in fact, in that system also, your supervisor going to approve your progress. So if you not submit that, so you and the supervisor will not approve your application. So they will not view the progress at you're doing in the university. And then second, you need to know the flow of your program, meaning based on your offer letter. If your offer letter is 3 years, so you must know when that is start for the proposal defense. And then what next? After you pass your proposal defense, what next? If you are failed the proposal defense, is it end of your research journey? So what you need to do? So you need to communicate with your coordinator or head of program, or maybe you can communicate with a postgraduate study office. So it's depending on the situation that you in. And then when we register with a university, we already submit a brief proposal. So by right, by the time you enter the university after you receive your offer letter and then pay the registration, so you have start the research actually. So meaning that what you need to do, you come to university with a proper proposal, no longer as a brief proposal that you submit in the system to get the eligibility whether or not to register that particular program. So by right, when you come to university, you bring in or you email first to your supervisor that been nominated to you, or you the one that approach that supervisor. Give a full working, I call as a working document until you submit to Viva. We call as a full document for that particular research. But you need to have that working document ready, so it's no longer as a brief. And then it's supposedly it's not like a very brief explanation, which is you also do not know what you're going to do. So that's why while writing your offer letter, you start reading actually at the that the way that we start reading, because we want what we want, we need to know more. And then after that, like I mentioned, communicate with supervisor frequently. It is depend on the individual as well, and it's like a mutual agreement between you and supervisor, whether you want to have 2 weeks or 1 month, or it depends. So but you need to have a frequent communication using any platform. So you can communicate with them. And then you need to improve your English as well, either verbal or writing. Because remember, at the end of the day, you're going to publish paper, and your thesis will be reference to other scholar or other postgraduate study. So your English is very crucial. Make sure you proofread that before you submit to your supervisor, or before you submit for your any submission. So you must do that. Although you can speak English very well, you think that you write a very good writing, but academic writing is different from normal writing, because it's very academic, the way that we want to share the knowledge. And then thing that you need to avoid is, don't ignore the postgraduate study rules and regulation. Although because the book is not very thick, normally, and you if you don't have that book, the handbook, you can access it online. And while you are waiting your public transport, or during your free time, you still can read that rules and regulation. Understand that, know what are you doing it, and what you need to follow. What you need to follow throughout the postgrad study. And don't assume people understand you based on your verbal communication. Always have working document ready until it is complete for Viva. Why I say that? You may face a misinterpretation between you and your team of your supervisor, because you keep saying A, but people will assume B based on your explanation. So if you have everything in writing, so people will read that, so they can see the flaw, so they can know, oh, this is the student want to do it. So maybe we can focus this and we can help this. So you need to have that working document ready, and it's not like what you submit last month is the same document. It must be adding a new information. So if you 1 year study in postgrad, supposedly in 1 year study you already have a quite thick proposal actually. Why is thick is based on your reading of your literature. And then you also have to write your methodology, research methodology. So when you have that, once you will read, we're going to propose this approach, and then we discuss with supervisor. It's not the other way around. You are not doing a project belong to your supervisor 100%. So you the one that going to do the topic that you propose. So you have the right to propose how you're going to execute that. So you need the supervisor to evaluate whether or not the approach is achievable, or this approach is a correct way based on your field of your study. So that's why your supervisor is function in as a team of your supervision. It's not like, okay, everything you will ask supervisor, what you want me to do. No, that's why I said postgrad study is research journey, which is depending on what you decide, what you determine at the end. So if you rely on other people to give you all the input, so it may delay your progress, because your supervisor have another student as well, because they are supervisor, we have other research that they need to fulfill. So that's the thing that you need to think as well. Don't assume people understand you everything. You need to have a very good communication. And the third one is very important actually. To me, I very respect to my supervisor. So don't harass your supervisor. So don't assume you submit that today, so you assume at night they're going to give you a response. Or maybe you will text them a very long text in the morning. You assume that evening or at afternoon they're going to reply you. So not everyone have the same time as you. So the way that you can communicate with your supervisor is through email. So and then you can message that. So if they are not email, reply your email in the 3 days. So yeah, you may text or call your supervisor. Or if you text your supervisor yesterday, maybe you give 1 or 2 days. for them to reply. So it depending on that supervisor time as well. You know, I give example like when I did my a PhD. So my supervisor in the US, you know, and I'm in Australia. So the time difference is very huge. So how that I going to communicate with my supervisor with a different time? And she also obligate with another task there in the US. So the way that I can communicate with her is through email. So and then I will wait. So sometimes it's maybe a week. So after a week, I quite worry because I'm very unconscious very anxious in terms of what are the response. So after 7 days, I reply email. I shoot email again. Then she replies my email. So it's depending on the situation. That's why I say don't assume people have the same time with you. Don't assume people will understand whatever that you're saying and then without any documentation. That's why you need to familiar with the system on the ECT for UniKL particularly. So once you use that system, you will know that your milestone and then you know that you need to submit your progress. And then if you see that in that system actually is a very what we call comprehensive submission actually they request. So as a supervisor, as a student, postgraduate study student, so if you are not really submit all the requirement request by the system, particularly after you have registered in university in 1 year, something wrong somewhere. You know, supposedly in 1 year you able to submit for conference. If you don't have time to write, it's okay. You may present at a colloquium, postgraduate colloquium. So supposedly within 1 year, it's visible to do it. You know, it's feasible because I did that. So I'm not published conference or journal in within 1 year. I register my PhD, but within that, I presented 2 times at a student colloquium. So one in my university and one at another university. So then we can get a very constructive comment from other examiner, potential examiner, and rather than you rely on what you understand based on your reading. So and one thing about that you need to bear in mind, once you have very good comments, don't take everything without thinking. So this is your research. So you need to make a decision where that you want to go, which advice that is very related to your research that you can use in your research. Don't just take everything. After that, you get a headache. So now you lost again. No, it's not necessary that you need to take everything. But all the input that you get is a very good input. You may not use that now during your proposal, but that input will be appear again once you write your thesis for your viva. So that happened. When I did my research at the beginning, I feel like, okay, how am I going to put in all the information? But I keep it in notes. So once I write my thesis, I do my data collection, then all the information, the input that I attended, all the conference, colloquium related to my field is very useful in my thesis. So that's one of the thing that you need to consider as well. So when I talk about research, it's very something that is in my heart. So it's something that I really enjoy to do it. So when talk about postgraduate studies, so thing that I want to focus is in terms of time. So once you have everything in follow your milestone, you have your plan, then it's help you to success in your postgraduate studies. So make sure you have plan. Remember, you cannot have one plan in doing a research. You need to have 2 or 3 plans. Mitigation plan is very important. So if not achieved in one plan, so you can go to the second plan. If you don't have the mitigation plan, so that's the problem. Have problem many ways that can come in. So that's very difficult for you to encounter. So make sure that you have the plan and you need to get the mitigation plan as well. So that's the do and don'ts that you need to know.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bazilah, for the do and the don'ts. Okay, I hope that you can grab that do's and the don'ts. Okay, so now we're going to have a short break for a while. Okay, and stay tuned for more interesting sharing after this. All right. welcome back to all the viewers. Okay, one more thing that you need to not to know. You have to bear in mind that you have to always check your email, your student email. Okay, because sometimes you're not aware with the student email that is sent to you to your university email. That's also important. Okay, one of the most important things. Okay, and for the viewers, okay, don't forget to post your response or questions to the panel at the comment sections. Okay, so Dr. Bazilah. Okay, what is your expectations and your preparation for research journey, hardship, and also obstacle? Because we know that during you said just now, some of us is a lonely journey, some of us is very interesting journey. So what is your view on this hardship journey?
To me, when we in postgraduate studies, so we may face this situation, the hardship. So either is a financial or personal issue, because doing a postgraduate study is we are adults already, so we have a lot of responsibility that we have to thinking of, especially when we talk about financial. So in order to to solve that, it's not as like in one night you can solve this issue. So you need to think how that you can get the opportunity for it. So you may apply for the scholarship from governments, scholarship from your government for the international students, or you may have a part-time job either in the university as research assistant. So you may communicate with your supervisor, or you may join any group on social media, postgraduate study. So, or you, if you are professional, continue your study. So you are have your expertise. So you may perhaps doing a professional related to your work, that you can gain money for pay for the tuition fees. So in terms of the hardship, when when we do a research normally, so like I mentioned, so once you get a very bad comment, for example, and after you write your defense, your research is very constructive comment, but it's not very what you are looking forward for it. So it's very hurtful. So I face that as well. So when I get a comment, it's very hurt for me when I read that. So it took a while for me. So what I did, I take away from my work in research. So I 3 days, or normally if very harsh comment, so I will take 3 days away from my work. So to reset back. So 3 days, I think of the comment, what are lacking based on that presentation. So then after I will start again to correct one by one. So based on the comment written by the examiner, so I make it in a document like using Excel or Words. So I just copy all the comments. So then I make my own remark on it. So if I have the answer, I will answer accordingly. So it's for my bookkeeping. So once you have a proposal defense, you will get the comment. So it's for my bookkeeping. So I will reply that. I will say, okay, this is what I'm lacking. But after I present my proposal defense, or because in Australia we don't have Viva, so I only can give example in terms of proposal defense after we get that feedback. So after I get that feedback, then I will take one day off. So in one day off, I will go have a nice meal, go for watching for movie. So I just take away from recess for 3 days. After that, I will start over. So I start with the comment first. So I take it a positive way. So if you, after you present, you get the comment, and then you very sad with that comment, so you will not able to think wisely what are the response on it. So you will take it as a personal rather than thinking that academically. So my advice, take away from your research for 3 days at least. So go for movies and have your me time. After that, you start again. Start with the comment. Do not start with the proposal that have been rejected, or the proposal that have very a bad comment. So start with the new documents. So start with the new document based on the feedback. Then you pinpoint that in your document. So then you will start right again. But the previous proposal, do not throw that away. You just need to find that the thing that is a very good comment from the examiner. So you will use that again. Think that is not good enough. So you improve that based on the the comment. So then you will overcome about it. So then you will stay on your momentum to complete your postgraduate study on time. So you need to have that. You know, me time is very crucial. So because even myself, when I have a very difficult day doing a research, especially when start data collection. So when we do data collection, we assume we can finish in 3 months. So we have mentioned that 3 months to do data collection. But unfortunately, for unforeseen event, so I cannot. I'm unable to manage in 3 months. So it's dragging to another 1 month. So it's drag from 3 months, is go to up 4 months. So in order to face this situation, so I will step back a bit. So I have me time. So once I have that my me time, I go for movie and take away from research. So I get the fresh idea to start my research step back. So that how that I manage doing that research, because no, in research is not what we call right and wrong. You know, whatever that you have in your research is about justification on your study, and you will become those who are expert in the area. So if you want to become an expert in that particular area, so you need to be expert yourself first. So how? That's how that you can be yourself. Like, know what you want to do, determine what you want to aim at the end, and try to be focused on your motivation first. So try be positive on in the way you're doing your work. Remember, we are the driver of the car. So you know, you may choose the pathway. So either you want to drive your car at a very nice scene, you can see all the nature. So you may go there. So you know, you need to know how to make sure that all the rules that you follow. So if you are, while you are driving a very nice car, have all of a sudden there is a bumper, and then there is a traffic light, and there is a lot of obstacle, and there is a car incident ahead of you that you stop you, for example. So all these obstacle uh, is may have the it may have a way that you can solve it. You know, even when we drive and you know, under the tunnel, at the end of it is always have the light. So you need to know how to maintain that momentum. Once you have it, that so all the difficulty, believe me, you can facing it. So if you are unable, if you are facing a personal issue and it's very difficult for you to focus on your study, maybe you can take away from study for 6 months. So after that, you reset that again. So if you are able to continue that, it's good. You just continue one day, one step ahead. One step a day. And what I did when I have a difficult time, and then I also worry about my PhD. I will read one article per day. That is very my bad day. So one, because reading is very crucial as a postgraduate study. So I will read at least one article, academic article per day. I will ensure I will do that. Either it's in the morning or at night. But if it's normal day and I'm doing a very good research, I will read a lot. But during the bad day or during the bad time, which is you can't focus on your study, try to find a research article is a very light reading. So like conference paper is only 4 or 8 pages, rather than you are reading academic like journal paper, which is required, you know, it's like 30 or 40 pages, and you at the moment are not in a good place in research. So don't do that. It will burden your head to thinking about it. So what you can do, try to find for me, I will try all the very light reading conference paper. Normally it's only 4 pages or 8 pages. So even during your bad day, you still can, you know, flip over the paper. Don't try to do that. So once you do that, so automatically your body will move. So when you read, because you already have your system, your literature metric, automatically you're going to type that in your computer. So you will not think that unnecessary during that time. So that's what I did. So that's how that I can maintain my momentum to complete my research. I'm not saying that doing research is easy, and I also not saying that doing research is very hard. You know, it's just depending on the situation that you are in. So if you know how to manage your time, and then you know how to communicate well with your supervisor and doing your data collection. So you may find a way to solve all this problem. And remember the do that you need to do, which is know the rules and regulation. So if you know that about the rules or regulation of your program, so you will have your milestone ready. So when you have your milestone ready, so you will know that, okay, oh, I missed this deadline, so what are mitigation plan? So when you have plan A, plan B, plan C. So thing that you can control, you will control, but the thing that you can control, so for example, you already submit your proposal for proposal defense. Meanwhile, while you're waiting for your proposal defense date, rather that you feel that you do nothing, why not you do a paper, write a conference paper. Don't think about what are the examiner going to evaluate your proposal. If you keep thinking about, okay, whether or not the examiner will agree, is it have a major or minor, it's wasting your time. Rather than keep thinking about that, just do your paper, write up the article paper. Either is for student colloquium, or either is conference or journal. It's depending on your writing. If your proposal is a very comprehensive, you may come out with, I think normally have a 2 conference paper. You may have a journal if you are doing a systematic literature review. But if you don't doing that, so you may have 2 or 1 conference. So it's depending on your research and your progress as well. So rather than, normally it may take up to 1 month, the process until the day of your presentation. So rather than you do nothing and then you keep thinking whether or not you're doing well or not, do the writing paper. So then it will increase your motivation actually. When you receive the email saying congratulations, your paper is accepted for this conference, then it will boost your motivation. And if your paper accepted in very high impact journal, that's another level. So it will increase your momentum to speed up your research. Rather than you think, okay, it's okay, you on track. Rather than keep follow all your timeline, you may jump it. So you make it as faster as you can, based on the feedback that you receive from your journal submission. So that you may face that. Or sometimes you may receive a very rejection from conference or journal. It's okay, but based on the rejection, they already give you the comment. You may use this comment to improve your research as well. So because their comment is a very powerful normally, because those who are reviewing the conference and journal, they are expert in the area, which is very priceless. So you can use that. Even if our paper is accepted, we also have that comment. Either is reject or accepted, we have that comment which is can improve our research. So that's is very good, what we call a good way to get another feedback from other people when we talk about research.
Okay, okay, Dr. Bas, about you said about writing, okay, writing to journals, okay, and so on. How do you improve your writing skills and language skills?
What I did, because I'm not, English is not my main language, so it's a second language. So what I did is start with I always read like magazine, English magazine. And when I watch movies or any TV series, so I will have a subtitle in English. So that's how that I can improve in terms of structure. And I always listen English song. So when I listen, it will help me to understand people when I receive the instruction in English. So it will help you to understand the way that they pronounce. That's how that I can improve. And I also attend English class. So in Australia, when I did my PhD and master, so I always go to the English center there. So they have like 30 minutes every week. So every week I will go there with my writing. So with a different writing, it's not the same writing. So once I get that, as well, I will see that. After that, I will learn. So through and then I also have like any grammar books. So I will study that, the basic of the grammar. And then each time that I submit for any submission conference, journal, or my thesis or submission to supervisor, I will submit to proofreader. So because my supervisor is not, they are not speak the same language as me. So their first language is English. So I need to have this proofreading each time that I submit all the official documents. So to ensure that they are not misleading with whatever that I have written in my report. So that's what I did. So it started with light reading. So you have any novel that you like in English, and then from your movie. So from movie you read the subtitle. Do not have your subtitle in your mother tongue. You have the subtitle in English. And I always hear the English song, because the way that English song they are sing is very fast. So when they are sing fast, you will automatically, when you like that song, you will look at for the lyrics. So then after that, you will train your ear. Once you read that, okay, now you know that when they pronounce like this is the word. So that's how that you can improve your English. It started with your daily activity. After that, once you read your academic paper, because remember academic paper, especially journal, is a very high level English, especially those in doing my research, develop a new theory. So you need to read the original theory. Sometimes it's in 90s, so the English is very different with now the way that they read, they written. So it's require you think a little bit more. So in order to go to that moment, so you need to practice first. Read things that are very layman language, which is the way that they write the English. Then this will increase your understanding, your comprehension on that. So that's what I did. It started with your daily activities. So after that, you go a little bit in your research. Read I said, one during my bad day, I will read like articles, like conference is only 4 pages and 8 pages, including reference. So you can imagine that is a very short writing. It's not like 30 pages of articles that I read. So that's how that I improve in my English.
All right, okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Bas. Okay, actually, UniKL MIIT, this year we're going to organize the second colloquium, okay, IPC 2023, the second international colloquium for postgraduate. Okay, this one will be held in the July 27 until 28 this year. Okay, so you can go to the website on our UniKL MIT events IPC 2023. Okay, Dr. Bas, recently you have your group, your team members already awarded silver medal in um, MTE Expo.
Yes, yes, in
Okay,
MT. Yeah.
is there any tips also? A little bit, okay, brief,
Um,
brief one.
that's one that project is from my master's students. So that's one away as well, how that you can have your free time to doing it. So when we do research, so you may have two different outcome. So one, those who are develop the product, and second, you need to when do research, you need to contribute to body of knowledge, which is in term of framework, in term of model. So the one that you develop is not, we so called not for that particular to get the awarded of your degree, because you are doing research. So you need to another element for it. So that application is for data collection. So your study is actually to see whether or not to use the application is very important, impactful to the education. So when if you want to participate in competition based on your research, is good actually, but you need to come out with what we call artifact, a product. Either if you come out with, normally in software engineering, for example, they have their big framework. So sometimes the framework is new. So you can use that framework to, you may use simulation to demonstrate how that framework work. You can participate in the competition as well. So those media, they do research as well, but in order to do research, they need to develop the application. So for example, VR, AR, XR. So that's what my student did. So she did in extended reality. So they developed the application. So then they asked the user to use the application. So the application is a part of data collection. So for research is to study how user experience use that particular extended reality application. Because remember, by research is to contribute to body or knowledge. It's not like to come up with a product for commercialization per se. So you have two things to deliver if you develop the product as well as your research contribution. So normally in competition, innovation competition, you need to have the artifact, like I mentioned just now. You need to have a product. So either is a new framework, either is a application, or either is web based or mobile application. Because normally this product developed by research is basically a complete product. It's pre-commercial ready already. So you only need to have a collaboration with industry to verify your outcome of that product. So if industry agree with your finding for that particular product, then the chances you to win the competition is very high, because you have the support from the industry, and then you cater the need of that market. The niche area is catered, so that's how that you can participate in the innovation competition based on your research. So normally those in doing that software engineering or networking, so they normally have their simulation. So the simulation that they create for their research, they can use that for the innovation competition. But you need to check your field as well. So if it's very niche area, why not? You can submit. But if you not see that have a impactful for the competition, perhaps you may add something that valuable for the competition using the base from your study. So maybe you need to another extra feature for that, which is not a part of your PhD. So if you have time, and then you add that, and then you can participate in innovation combination, why not? So that's one of the way that you can extend your knowledge that you have, share to the people, especially international competition. So you have a lot of viewer attend that competition.
Okay, Dr. Bazilah, I think we are coming to the end of the sessions. All right. So for the potential students, you can apply at www.unikl.edu.my. Okay, for July 2023 intake. Okay, so with that, I would like I would like to thank the panelists today, TS Dr. Bazilah, for joining us. Okay, and thank you all for the viewers also for joining us from the start until the end. Okay, last word from me. Okay, the minute you think of giving up, okay, think of the reason why you held it so long. Okay, meaning that once you start, you have to finish it. Okay, so thank you everyone. Okay, take care and have a nice day and have a Eid Mubarak this coming weekend. All right, thank you very much.